So let's close this trade up for a nice $300 win. It wasn't a massive runner, but quick and easy wins are always good. We were up $500 on this trade when all of a sudden it reversed all the way on me, knocked me out for just $100, and then rocketed all the way to the moon without me. We're going to look at some live day trades I took that will help you become a better trader. So looking at this trade, we're just looking for a reversal off of this high here. The market has made a really strong push up, and then it's starting to lose some momentum by producing some pretty big red bars here. And so my thought is, hey, we might just push all the way back low here, and I can get a nice swing trade back to the lows, getting, you know, about 2-3 to 1 on my risk. And so again, these don't have to work every time to be consistently profitable. I only have about 50% win rate, but because I make much more than I lose, you make money in the end. So this one starts to look pretty good, and it ends up actually reversing on me, and I lose out on that trade. And that is totally okay, because again, we don't have to be right every time, but it is frustrating when you are wrong, especially if the market looks like it's gonna reverse again and maybe you're just too early. Sometimes in these swings, you get in a little bit earlier than when the market wants to reverse, and you have to jump in again. And that can be scary because you can maybe lose twice in the same area. And so here, that is exactly what I'm seeing. The market looks like it pushed up again, and here is a lower high. And so what I'm seeing here is there's kind of a head and shoulders pattern. There's kind of a shoulder, here's a head, the market's made one last push up, and then essentially the market is making another shoulder here. And all this signifies is this is a lower high in terms of a downtrend, and so it's starting to make this potential downtrend. So that's what I'm looking to see happen, and it makes a nice big red rejection bar here. And so I'm going to get in based on that and look for this to move lower. And so again, because this market's pretty volatile and reversing pretty quickly, I want to get out on this pretty aggressively if it gets to the lows here, and or if it sets up a pattern of it looking to reverse. Now it's hard because, well, this could also just keep going lower. This could be a reversal on a larger trend and smash through these lows and keep going. And so having that flexibility to get out if it's looking like it's going to reverse and just go for a small win, but also letting things play out and keep going lower is hard to do sometimes. But here you can see the market is starting to chop, and there's a couple of bars stacking up, and then this strong big green bar. That is definitely an inclination to me that, hey, we might be bottoming here, and I want to get out if this starts to break higher. The market could totally have a quick little pullback here and keep going lower, and so I want to allow myself to stay in the trade if that is the case. But if it decides to just come up here, maybe have a slight pullback and then rip higher, I want to get out because, well, there's still good profits here. I'm still up like $300 on this trade, and I definitely want to capture that if that is the case. And so here, based on these red bars, you can see this is that pullback that we were hoping for. And so at this exact point, this can go either way. This could either pull back and go lower, or it could come up. This could be this little pullback right here, like a higher low, and rip higher. Exactly kind of like this reversal pattern up here. It's just playing out in a little smaller pattern. And so because of that, I want to move my stop above this high here, because again, if we are gonna break above this, I think it's pretty good chance that we rip higher. And so that is exactly what happens. You can actually see it ripped up really quick, but I was able to get out and profit a good portion of this move. Now, you're not always gonna get massive swings, and that's okay. These trades still add up. I trade the MES futures on a 1-minute chart, and futures are awesome because they let us start day trading with a small account and slowly grow it over time. All I do is I look to take reversal trades. And what I do is I actually look at a 15-minute chart of the MES futures as well, and I just look at the price action, and I look to take reversals off of just where I see the market having a double bottom, a double top, and then when it tests that area again, I look to take a reversal off of it. And with those levels, I then draw them and they come into a 1 minute chart, and I look for smaller patterns to reverse off of those levels. So if we jump forwards here in the day, we're actually at the lows here, and the market has made a flush into the lows and started to chop. And I think that is a good indicator that, hey, we're starting to potentially reverse, and we're at a level where we are likely to reverse. And so it's all about adding up your reversal level with a strong reversal pattern. And that reversal pattern here is a nice flush lower, some chop, and then we're looking to break back higher. And so I'm going to get in on this little higher low we have right here, got in right here. And then we're going to look to see what the market can do. Hey, maybe we can push all the way back up here. That seems maybe unlikely just because the market is kind of in a downtrend right here. And the market has been pretty choppy and slow. But again, you don't know what the market's going to do. You want to leave yourself open to the possibility of anything happening. So again, just moving forwards, we're going to let things play out. And we want to move with the swings because the market can be pretty volatile sometimes. But in the long run with swing trading, moving with the swings is the profitable way to do things. And so here, I want to wait for the market to, again, have that pullback to move my stop with it, because this is a really strong bottoming signal at this point. At this point, I'm really confident that we are going to push higher. And that is because we've made this kind of final exhaustive move down, and then we've made another push up recovery in that. And so that is a signal that is showing that the market is really kind of given up here, and buyers have come in and really bought this bottom, and it just shows a lot of strength. And so I don't want to get skittish and get knocked out early, because this could be a larger trend reversal where the market actually does push all the way back up to the highs. And in that case, that would be a really big trade, and we can look to capture that move. So here the market is just kind of chopping around, and that's okay. It's hard to just sit here and hold through that. It's pretty nerve-wracking, but again, patience pays off. The market is starting to break up higher here, and so I'm going to move my stop below this chop range, because I think the idea is, hey, you know, if it comes back up here and pushes lower again, I want to get out of the trade, because that seems likely that maybe this larger trend is taking over and pushing us back lower. You might be able to draw some kind of trend line here of the market holding that, and so I want to get out based on that. And so here it sucks to see the market really push us all the way back and knock us out, because we were up, I think, $500 or $600 on that trade, and it was looking really good, and we got out, you know, maybe up 50 bucks. And so at this point, I just called it with this day, because that is really frustrating, but that's just how trading goes, right? Sometimes it works out, and sometimes you have a massive pullback like this, which then takes you out, and that can be really frustrating. And if we just quickly zoom forwards and actually look how that played out, you can see the market came down, bottomed, made a nice actual consolidation, and I would say this bar right here is a really good long bar, and then just rocketed up from there. And if I stayed and traded this, you can see that would have been a nice 5x on that trade. And so that sucks to miss, but again, that's how trading goes. It's better to leave when you're frustrated instead of trying to stay and force, because generally when you do that, you're going to make bad decisions.